Hey, Matt Noren at the Community Workbench. I proudly sponsor the Community Workbench and everything that it represents for local entrepreneurs. And speaking of which, I am a local entrepreneur. I am a realtor with Remax Bell Park in Dayville, Connecticut. Fully licensed in Connecticut to do commercial, rentals, and residential. I absolutely love my job, love working with clients. So if you are in any need for a realtor, please give me a call, 860-428-6534. Your dreams are my job. Welcome to the Community Workbench. This is Matt Noren and Kyle Morrissey. We are your hosts of the number one podcast in our basement, in my basement. And unfortunately, Kyle is still out sick. So he is not here. Hang on. I'll turn the furnace off. And that's how it goes when Kyle's not here. At the bench, we try to repair the sense of community. So every week, we bring you small businesses, entrepreneurs, community leaders, charities, and pretty much whoever we feel like talking to. And this week, we have the pleasure of talking to our friends Mindy and Jean from Friends of Assisi.
Hi, Matt. Thanks for having
Hi.
us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And Jen is here.
I love this so much.
And welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Jen's going to be a little quiet today.
Very pensive.
That's perfect.
Well, thanks for having us back.
Yeah, welcome back. This is February. We like to kick off the Spread the Love campaign with you guys as usual.
Nice.
Let's talk about, for those who don't know, how Friends of Assisi came to be.
Okay, wow. Well, my first thought when you said spread the love is that we have a tremendous amount of love for the people that come to us for food. Sometimes, like, it even makes us cry because we feel everything they're going through. And we just want to be able to help them. So this is the perfect month for us to be here because of the love we have. And it's not always easy to understand that, this thing that's in our heart, to just keep being like caring and serving them in need.
Well, especially since you've been doing it for how long now?
We're going on 35 years.
35 years.
We're going to be having a big party pretty soon before I get too old.
That's right. Never.
Nice.
Never.
So as usual, we missed your question and we went off on our own tangent.
That's all right.
But what was the question? How we
like
got
how
started?
how it came to be.
Okay. So approximately 35 years ago, I was pregnant with my youngest. I had a child in kindergarten and a child in pre-K. And I met this girl, Paulette Bolton, who is now Paulette Slavinsky,
Who's still on our board?
who's still on our board,
Yep.
and
Nice.
Mary Turnquest, who's now Mary Rajamos,
Yep.
who was in our Bible studies.
Correct.
And they went to Father John O'Neill, who rests in peace, is in heaven, and said, there is so much hunger in our community, there is a need for a food pantry. And Father John said, that's a great idea, and I support you. Let's name it after St. Francis of Assisi. So those two started it, and then they asked me right away if I would want to be a part of it, and that was 35 years ago. And 35 years ago, it was in the basement of the rectory. It was a tiny little, tiny dark room with one light bulb hanging from the ceiling, and one shelf, which if we got a lot of food, it would bend. But oftentimes we didn't have food because we were just starting.
Right.
And so people would come onto the rectory porch, and then we would have to run down the stairs, through the washrooms, through the priest outfits. What are they called? Cassocks?
It's called a vestibule, but I don't know what.
Yeah, so we would go through the washroom into this little room, grab food, run back up the stairs, get quite a workout. And at that time I was pregnant, and elderly people were having a hard time helping because of the situation of being in the basement. But it was a wonderful start. It was a wonderful start, and a lot of support from the community. And that was our start many, many years ago, 35 years ago.
Wow. That's pretty wild how long it's been out, and now you're at 177 Water Street, right?
77 Water Street.
77
Yeah.
Water Street, sorry. And you're just still going strong. Um, the shelves have pretty much stayed full for a number of years now, right?
Yeah, and oftentimes people will say, "Oh, that's kind of shabby looking. You need a better place. You need a bigger place or whatever." And I say, "No, this is the home of miracles. We're just going to stay right here on 77 Water Street." And not only that, but you know, there's so much activity in that area. People going to the post office, people driving by the kids to school or whatever.
People buying drugs sometimes on the corner. Like, I swear to God, it's just people coming from port around the corner. Oh,
That's true, coming over to us for community service,
yeah.
but it's really the perfect location. And I believe a lot of our donations come because they see our steadfast work on the corner there.
Mm-hmm.
And we start our morning with prayer. We invite the clients to join us, and we just all join together and we say, thank you that we have this place. And so people driving by down the street will see, sorry, Minnie, they'll see us just like bowing our heads and just putting our hands up in prayer because we're so grateful that we can continue to, help people in need. And it's not that we're like these real strict religious people. I was praying on Friday and I said, dear Lord, thank you for everything. Thank you that the police didn't give me a ticket on the way here this morning because I was definitely going over the speed limit. So we're very honest in our praying, and I don't know. I think it sends a message of our love to our community.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys kind of gave me and Kyle the opportunity to help hand out food on Thanksgiving.
I forgot about that. That's right.
And when you need a bigger space, you have the school, the gymnasium at St. James, and I just couldn't believe the crew and the team that was there for. Was it Thanksgiving Eve or was it
Tuesday?
It
It was the Tuesday. Yeah, the Tuesday before, and everybody was just all smiles, and the gym was packed with food, and I mean, it was a really humbling and really cool experience.
Thank you. That's a good word, humbling too.
Yeah.
And we say it's like our Super Bowl, like it
Right.
really is.
Right.
Like we're handing out. We're there, every week, 52 weeks a year. I don't know how many years, 35 years, about 9 for me now. But it's really nice to see everyone like on one day. Like not only the guests, but also like we get a lot of our volunteers that are all,
Right.
sometimes I don't get to see some of the volunteers because they come in on a Monday and so this is like all hands on deck. So it's really it's a great experience. I'm glad you guys could share it with us. Thank you. And
Yeah.
it's raining.
And you
but-
almost forgot that it was raining.
Yeah, I
just
didn't.
because
Well,
Well,
you
God
were on
bless
car duty,
Minnie.
so
and she is on car duty, and then every once in a while, like, I want to go out and interact with the clients too. Let me take over for a little while. And I'm like, oh, how is she doing this? It's cold, it's rainy, it's raw, but I don't know. We just have a lot of grace that day to just do so much, so much. And I think it's just so fulfilling because sometimes when people come for their food and it's busy, we don't always get to interact with them. We're not on Thanksgiving distribution day, but on our monthly food days, and you don't always get to say to them what you want. And for me to be able to run outside and see Gloria, for instance, wearing the hat that someone had knitted for her and looking so sweet in it, and oh, that's the funniest thing. So we are very much about giving people choices, because if they have choices, it helps to bring them a little dignity. And so we say, fill out this menu for Thanksgiving. Here are your pie choices. There's no guarantee, because if you're getting them for cheap or free, you never know what you're going to get. And this one lady said she wanted lemon meringue.
We were like, would you like pumpkin or would you like apple? And she was like, I would like lemon meringue.
We're like, we've never had the request for lemon meringue.
So we were like, we have to remember this
We
pie.
have to do this. So we have almost 400 families signed up. It's so much involved,
Wow.
so much work. And it's like, Gloria is going to get her lemon meringue pie. So I had our volunteer Josh go to the store, get the lemon meringue pie. We refrigerated it. We made sure we brought it down so that when Gloria came, we could run out and go, here's your lemon meringue pie.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
And so that's just a small little portion of, I think, what we do, just to try to make things a little more personable for people and
Oh,
help them
even-
to come out of their
sometimes I think that
dreary.
some of the people that we meet, for real, we are probably the only people they're coming into contact with. If not that day, maybe the week, or I'm not, and I'm serious. And so when you ask them, like, I don't know how we ended up with umbrellas, but we had a lot of umbrellas and we had blankets. And so when we say to the people, would you like a choice? You can have an umbrella or a blanket. It's just the faces. They're just so excited. And it's such a nice, I can't imagine much surprises them in a good way,
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it's just so, I can't, they're still my favorite days, for real.
Yeah.
The 20 degrees was a little crushing there for the last few weeks because we're mostly outside
Right.
even now. But they're your neighbors. They're our friends. And a lot of them are hurting.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, we're finally getting a cold snap type of year,
yeah.
and it makes it that much harder when you have to fill the oil tank, or if you're
Absolutely.
living outside.
Yep.
And it's really nice that they have you guys and can go there and have some positivity. It's not some dreary thing. It's everybody's usually having a pretty good time when you're there.
Even if we're not. And I mean, sometimes we have to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps. Like sometimes we're not having a good day,
Right.
personally, or you know what
Right.
I mean. We've got stuff going on too, and so I think that it makes us more like when we lost my dad. It was so sweet. Like so many of the guests and people that come were like sent condolences and just were really like, we are a family, even with the guests. And so it's
Someone asked you the other day, and I was in the office, and I could hear
Tiny
them. I
old
go,
man.
"Oh no, I think we're gonna cry." Pretty sure
Oh.
it's a cry.
how's Bob? What's he been up to or whatever? And I was like,
Oh, now we
Bruce.
have to tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice. So we welcome babies together. We bury friends together, and everything in between. And I think that in some cases we're all they have. And I don't
Right.
mean that in like a pretentious way. I just mean like,
Right.
I mean, it's just
Mm.
it's heavy sometimes, but it's also like the best. It's the best.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is.
And how have things been going since after the holidays so far?
Well,
January,
so
February.
yeah,
Good.
all from like October, November, December, our lines were so long. And I was like, okay, I think it'll be better in January. And then the last Friday in January, I think it was, we had over 40 families. And it was crazy.
In one day.
In
you know.
one
Wow.
day. In one day, yeah. And you only have this little amount of time you're doing it in. And you have these pre-made boxes, and then you have to have people scurrying around in the back trying to make more pre-made boxes and stuff. So you do get a little overwhelmed, but everybody got the food that they needed. And the only thing with a day like that, with the 40-something clients, is that I don't feel like I get to interact with them as much.
Right.
Mindy's pretty good about quickly interacting with them, and Jen's super friendly on the window. So it's a nice combination because Mindy's very calm and very mellow. So she
Most
settles
of the
people. And Jen's cheerful.
A
and
go-getter. She's our
this is-
go-getter.
I know. Look at her smile. So, so she's very cheerful and very friendly. And then I just I'm in between, and I try to go out and do whatever I can. But that day was really crazy because I was in the produce room trying to get together enough bags of produce because we want people to have produce because we want them to be healthy.
Yeah.
People are sick and they're not healthy, and they need to have fruits
what they
and
were
vegetables.
We were
and-
talking about that the other day. So even the people who get SNAP benefits and things like that. So I was listening to a podcast the other day.
Not ours.
Not yours.
Oh my
sorry.
goodness.
I know. But it was talking about how everyone should have the ability to get fresh vegetables, or and it's like we had. Remember the little mom who has the two little ones,
I
and
love her.
she
Yeah.
she has to walk everywhere with a double stroller, and so it was too cold, so she had to basically do her shopping at a convenience store because
Oh,
that was
wow.
the only thing that was close enough,
Right, right.
that would accept her benefits or whatever. Big Y was just too far on a cold day like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, what a sad, which is why we do a lot with the farmers market during the
Hmm.
warm months, which is really
Yeah.
awesome. So,
Yeah.
But she had a gluten-free allergy and something else. So
mhm,
I'm like, and I remember that because I tried to stay gluten-free. Ran in the back room. We have a gluten-free tote. Grabbed some things.
mhm,
Ran them out to her, and she's so grateful. I go, here's some chips, and here's this, and this is gluten-free, and she was just so happy. It's
mhm.
like we can we can do that. It's like
Mm.
we're able to do that. I
It's
think it
nice.
takes us out of our own lives
It
and
does.
whatever we have going on because we can help their lives for that little amount of
And that
time.
one time when our dear Dave, so we had a
Oh
client.
my
We're going to tell one
gosh.
more sad story, and
No,
then we're
it's
not telling
okay.
any more sad
No,
stories.
no, it's
It'll
good.
be fun.
All right.
But what makes it, what I want, I guess I want people to understand, and not understand, but like just how it's not just giving food to people. So this one gentleman who couldn't have been younger than me probably, and
Yeah.
he came to us and he had lost so much weight, like staggeringly so, and so we took the time and talked with him, and we pulled him into the office, and
Well,
you know
let me
kind
interrupt. It's like triage. So you're supposed to be taking care of all these people in the line, and Mindy's like, he does not look right. And she stops everything. And she's like, he's going to the front of the line. And she brings him into the office and sits him down in the office.
yeah, and then we talked with him for a while, and he was going through a lot of medical things, and we
And
weren't
I was
sure.
doing tests on him. Squeeze my hands.
We're like,
No, he
I
didn't
think he
have
had
a
a
stroke.
stroke.
No, he did not, Mindy. He has equal bilateral strength.
Wow.
But
So
then
I
we
have a nursing background. So
I was
I
gonna
can
ask.
still
It sounded like
apply
it.
that, and I haven't been a nurse in years, but I can still apply it to my clients. We've had low blood sugar attacks, we've
absolutely
had hypertension. Someone had to go to the hospital.
remember
We
when
had
the
someone
volunteer got in the car accident right out.
car accident. Yeah, we
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, we deal with everything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
And so this gentleman was just we caught up with him. There's not obviously anything we could do, but we just really talked with him and showed our concern and love. And I mean, he was just so touched. He just talked about how he loved us and how, long
Yeah, but even, I mean, you say you couldn't do much, but you did that,
right.
and that feeling will help.
Yeah.
I
That
think it
feeling that
did.
someone's
It
watching out
did.
for
I hope
you
so.
Because he
is
called
is
us.
He called us
a
and left
lot.
a message.
Yeah.
He
The
was
hospital.
at Hartford Hospital, and
Oh wow,
we
so he did
love
get
you.
to the hospital.
Yeah, he
That's
got to
good.
the hospital, but then he sent a nice message, and we tried calling him a few times, and then we sent him
Yeah,
a
he
card.
called and left a message on our answering machine like, I love you guys. I need your prayers.
Hmm.
I'm not sure what's happening. And then we never heard from him. And
Or
it was
saw
just,
him.
yeah, or
So
saw
we
Oh.
him.
sent him a card,
So we sent him a card, yeah.
and then it finally
He
came
didn't sign
back.
up for Thanksgiving. And
Oh,
we're
okay.
like,
So this was that.
oh. And we had like 400 people, families sign up. And we were like, but still, he was in our mind. Like,
And we kept looking for obituaries, wasn't finding it, and
yeah,
finally we just got the envelope, the card back that said deceased.
yeah.
Wow.
It was really
So imagine you leave the world, and that's the only
Ugh.
way. There's no obituary, no
know.
memorial, no.
Yeah.
So it really, it really, things like that are super sad, but they're also why we do it, I think, because,
Well, I feel like it's like reinforces this is why we're here.
yeah,
This is
Yeah.
why we're here because when he was all alone in the hospital, we're who we reached out to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it, it's tough. I would say, um, when you're having a good day, Friends of Assisi needs you. When you're having a bad day,
you need friends of the
Friends of
species.
Assisi,
Mhm.
you need Friends of Assisi.
100%.
Yeah.
Thing. And that
Yeah.
goes for
That's cool.
that goes for the volunteers and
Yep.
the clients and whatnot, because like you said, it's family, and those relationships go both ways, and you might not even realize it, and you might even sometimes think you're always giving, but
Right.
when
Right.
when
Yeah.
when it comes to the sorrow in your life,
Yep.
they were there.
Yep. Absolutely.
So yeah, it's, I mean,
So that was
it's
sad.
tough.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna cry.
I know. I know. I also feel really hot in here.
I think it's those bright
Must
LEDs.
be. I didn't do
Well,
it.
we are next to the furnace, so let's talk about your schedule. Like when you're open, when you're open for donations, when clients come, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so we're open for clients only 2 days a week, and but that doesn't mean we're not open.
We can see 40 people in one day. We've
Right. Right.
come to realize.
So on Mondays, that's our day for stocking shelves, getting a truck from the Connecticut Food Bank,
Nice.
making boxes for Tuesday, and our
Receiving
community
donations.
service, receiving some donations, and community service does a lot of their work. And when Mindy first came here, she said, "There's so many layers," and I said, "Yeah, I never thought about it. You're right, there is." Community service is a whole nother layer. And we have people that are able to stay out of jail because they come and they do community service for us. We have two right now, and they were a big help today. Um, you know, lifting and breaking down onions and, cleaning and rearranging the upstairs because we have an inspection coming. It's not called an inspection, it's a site visit, is what it is.
It's exhausting. It's what it is.
And there's like pages and pages of rules that we have to follow, and
Sure.
we're not really that good about following.
Easy,
Some of us are worse
easy.
than
We didn't
others.
say that on the
I
internet. You guys follow it to a T.
Oh.
I've been there.
Yeah, we do.
we, it's about love and kindness,
Yeah.
and then maybe try to follow
And forgiveness.
Yeah,
Right, that's the piece.
So anyhow, on Mondays we have the community service kids that are helping out. And here's another thing about community service. We have some women that are volunteers that started off as community service. Most of our community service is DUIs and drugs. And that's fine with us because we get it, we understand it. I had two children with drug addiction, so I have a heart for them. And some of them oftentimes are their friends that are coming for community service that haven't reached recovery yet. So I'm happy to help them, and they help us too. But a lot of the women that do community service for us, they stay. They stay and they come afterwards, even though their hours are done. They've got their letter, they're completed. They still come on Mondays and help make the boxes and do whatever they need to do.
Yeah, they become volunteers.
They
Just-
become volunteers. There's no longer
Mm.
community service, they're volunteers. So they become a big part of it because it's like we kind of embrace them, and you do need food. I know you're struggling. You're a single parent, whatever. Here you go. You had a rough time.
Hmm.
I think we get them.
we try to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who doesn't like that, right? You
Right.
know?
And
Right.
when there's an addiction, there's usually a hole that needs to be filled.
Right.
And being that you guys are such a
Always.
close family and so much fun to be around,
Yeah.
and it just kind of it is
So
yeah, it's like a magnet,
Mhm.
Yeah.
for people to
and to have a sense of purpose, to come and be able to put in just a couple of hours of work, just
Right.
simple, moving boxes and
And we
getting it done.
then we rely on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
We forgot that they started all these years ago, because they were, the court mandated it or whatever. We forget all about that because they become so awesome for us.
yeah, but you're a team, and
Yeah.
they feel included as part of the team,
Yeah.
so that
Right.
they usually wouldn't want to leave. My hour went by pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
next year I think we're gonna do a little longer. We're gonna plan
Yeah.
a little better.
So
You
I'm
get
glad
that
you
in
guys
writing.
appreciate.
We have it in writing. We have it on video.
There
And
you Uploaded for the
All
website.
right, I'm gonna put that on my schedule. I'm so glad you and Kyle appreciated that.
Mm.
That was it's a funny day. I mean, it's a lot of emotions are in that day, but a lot of
Absolutely.
happiness is in
Mhm.
that day too. But that particular morning, we were mourning the loss of 3 volunteers,
Yep.
and my friend Kathy and Steve Williams, who's helped for years, and your dad Bob. So Rennie Barble did a beautiful a beautiful talk in tribute to them. It was really nice.
It
And we always start with prayer.
Yeah.
And we've always had, the Norwich Bulletin always has sent John Penny. And we've had a great write-up all these years. And John Penny would be part of the prayer group and take pictures, and it's always been awesome.
And then he moved away.
Well, he moved
didn't move.
to the day in New London.
Yep.
So, but that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't need publicity.
No.
But it was sure nice because
You're getting some now.
Yeah, we are. How many people are watching?
Oh, I
Kyle
don't
should
know.
tell us.
Kyle would tell
There's
us.
Harmon, there's Jay.
Right. If Harmon can figure out how to work the
It might
so
be
sweet.
2 right now.
Nice. Crushing it. Crushing it.
So then you asked
But-
about our hours. So then Tuesday, 9 to 11 with the clients, and you can drop things off at that time too. Wednesday, we're off. Thursday, we have about 8 pickups on Thursday. We have a pickup at the Cumberland Farms. We have bread at the Stop and Shop. We have meat at the Stop and Shop. We have produce at the Big Y. We have
Aldi's.
Aldi's. Yeah. There's more.
So you guys use your own vehicles and go pick all this stuff
So
up?
we have
Volunteers.
volunteers. So
Yeah.
when someone first says they want to volunteer, their first job we give them is usually a pickup job so that we can get a feel for them and see how they do. Like Ruth has been doing Aldi's for how many years?
Mhm.
And she loves to do that. So she's a nurse, but she takes this morning off on Thursday. Same with Anne, who does Cumbies, and she is a social worker at Day Kimball, and she does Cumbies, and we get tons of eggs and sandwiches.
Oh, wow.
Like sandwiches, which is great because
The
our
homeless,
homeless people come, or people, that
People
don't
living in
cook.
their cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Few of
and they
those.
get they love the sandwiches, and eggs are so high right now that we can give out eggs. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's on Thursday, and we have some community service on Thursday, and we also have people drop off donations on Thursdays too. And then Friday we're open for clients again.
Yep.
So Thursday they make the boxes for Friday's clients.
Oh,
We
okay.
have we get produce, and we have
Oh,
some
yeah.
group home girls and their worker that come and help us with the produce.
Yeah,
so that's
Dan
sweet.
Dan from the group home in Thompson supervises the girls, brings them down, and we all work together sorting produce
So
and.
funny.
Yeah,
So-
and we all grow attached to each other.
Absolutely.
We're taking them out for their birthdays to Sweet Cheeks when it reopens.
Oh, nice.
This month, yeah.
I was going to say, that's pretty soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on Friday when you have clients, you still accept donations,
Oh,
right? 'Cause
yeah.
You were saying that a lot of people like to come donate on the day that
Yes,
you
they
can
do.
see the clients, and
They
I
do,
thought
yeah.
that was kind of cool
Yeah,
that
it is.
that's how
It was funny the
kind of
other
people
week.
prefer it.
It was a couple Fridays ago, and so Bank Hometown, we'll give them a little plug right now because they were amazing. But we didn't know they were coming
Yeah.
at all. So we were just like doing our thing and helping guests out and putting boxes together. And these 2 ladies just were standing behind and kind of holding back.
Very humble looking. We thought
They
they
were like
clients.
flannel shirts. They were dressed down, and so hang on, we'll be right with you. And they came inside, and we're like, oh, and I think I just say like, stand here, like stand here. I don't think you'll be in the way, and because they said we have something we have a donation, and that's
It was
all we
so
know.
Oh, okay.
crazy that day.
So, okay, stand here. And then whenever they had a check for $4,500,
Yeah.
Right.
we're like, oh my gosh, we kept you waiting. We're so sorry. But I think it was really good for them to come in the thick of it. And
Wasn't that the same day we had the special group from Killenly High School?
yes, serving
made
soup
the soup?
outside. Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
picked the coldest day. They've been planning this for months and months, and they were going to make soup, and they were going to bring a big pot of soup, and then they were going to serve it in cups to the clients, to the guests. And it was such a
There's
cold
ice and
day.
snow everywhere. These kids, of course, right?
We just had the snowstorm.
Maybe
ice
they
and
had a
snow all over
sweatshirt
the-
on.
Yeah. But it was the sweetest thing because they stood on the side of the building and they had a little part of the table and they were able to spoon out, and the kids had each, chop something or whatever to make the soup, like Stone Soup in the story of Stone
Yeah.
Soup.
Oh.
and they were able to share it, and then the leftover I put into go containers, and everyone could take it home and have it when they got home. So it was a busy day.
It was.
Busy day, yeah.
But like we try to. So I guess what we do is we treat everyone the same. So we don't know.
Right.
Are you here giving us $5,000? Are you here asking for soup? Do you want? Are you in your car? We have no
Yeah.
idea, and everyone is just sort of treated the same. And like we'll get to you as soon as we can. And come on.
Yeah.
I knew they had a donation, and I literally was so busy they didn't know where to. I was like,
Yeah.
stand here, and we will. I promise, be right with you.
Because the inside of the room that used to house all the people pre-COVID, when people would come in the building, is now set up that all the stuff, we're grabbing bread, we're grabbing treats, we're grabbing cat food, we're grabbing this and that, and it's all going out this little window in such a way that it's very efficient, but there's not a lot of room for like anything else.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
yeah.
And now, right outside the window, there's been a table. I know you had, I know you had
We're
an
gonna go there,
announcement.
huh, Matt?
Well, I knew you had an announcement, and I didn't know if you wanted to like reiterate the announcement around the table.
Oh, well,
this
for the 2 viewers, we would like you.
there will be more in post.
I'm just teasing you. I'm teasing us, really. Where is our family right now, right? Where are our people
That's probably Jen and Kyle.
shaking their heads?
Oh.
right? Jen's like,
Oh,
"What?"
Matt, I don't even know what to tell you about that table. It started off as such a wonderful thing.
Well, first of all, we had a table, but then someone stole it. So then we had to chain it down. I swear to God.
I know.
So when we first had the table, it was a great idea. But do you remember? We went to put something on the table, and the table was gone.
No, and then we found part of the table like up near the
It was
St.
at
James
St.
School.
Someone had literally taken the table, climbed over
You
the
can't make
fence,
this up.
and put the table's legs through the fence at St. James, and put a chair next.
Like there it is.
Where's
Windy
our
day.
table? There it is at St. James School.
You can't take the. I always take for granted what people bring to the table until the table's gone.
Exactly. You're not kidding.
Sorry, that was kind of a terrible
No, it was a
dad
good
joke.
one. No, it was good. You didn't have to tell us it was jokes. It was okay.
We actually have what we call pantry TV, and we don't have to watch soap operas or anything like that. We just open the window and
Yeah, like it will be closed or whatever, or getting ready to close, and we'll be shutting down, and all of a sudden someone will drive up, and we're like, "What are they doing out there?" Peeking out, and we have to monitor. So we don't know what to do with the table.
I mean,
it's been great.
we say we're full of love, and we really are, but you can't believe the stuff.
You
that
have
goes
to,
down.
right? And laughter is the best medicine.
is, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it really is.
See, I'm glad I brought it up.
Absolutely. So we are hopeful. Some of us are like, let's just take it down, and some are like, and so we're just trying to
The people in the community love the table.
the
Right.
table.
They love the table, and they love, during COVID when we first put it up, and people were afraid to come and get food or whatever, and here's the thing: if UNFI or somebody, a truck has a rejected amount of food, like we told you last time about the orange juice or whatever,
Yeah.
the table's the perfect thing for it. And then we post it on
Right.
Facebook, and people just all come and get it. So
And there are some communities, some people who do not want to, they don't want to give even name. They don't want to come. They don't want to, they're too proud, whatever, but they will use that table.
right. And there's people that
Right.
will take a bunch of stuff from the table and go to a neighborhood,
Yep.
park their car in the neighborhood, and then
Yeah,
start
distribute it.
distribute it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? When we were cleaning up the table, I think this past, what's today? So on Friday,
It was Friday.
we had 2 women who were guests of ours getting food, and they literally were like, "Do you have some garbage bag?" They cleaned everything up for us and said,
Oh,
"We have
wow.
a dumpster at our apartment. We'll take it."
it.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean,
Because that was literally the day after I posted, please don't put so much stuff on the table. And then we pull up on Friday morning,
yeah,
like,
okay.
what? What is all this stuff?
Yep.
I was about to cry, and Mindy's like, oh, it's okay. Everything is fine. It's okay.
It's all relative. Yeah. And so, but it'll work out. I'm hopeful that we can keep the table. And like
I
we
wanna
said, the
keep the
worst
table.
case we'll do is probably pull it in sometimes when we're not around for a little, like when, and then take it back out or whatever.
Mm.
It's just, we've got to find the key for the lock. So we don't know where.
Oh,
I don't know.
speaking of which,
Jen will know where it is.
Jen, do you know where that can
She,
is?
of course,
Oh.
she does.
She's
There-
smiling so nice.
Oh no! What did you do?
What do we got?
This thing started coming at me.
Come at me, bro.
Is it still? Is it still good?
Hello.
Yep, we're
Yep,
still good.
she's
All
there.
right.
So speaking of Jen,
Yeah.
she's our food coordinator. She's visiting her mom and her sister. And this is Jen here. And Jen makes out a list. So the people that come on Mondays and Thursdays, they make the pre-made boxes. And
Mhm.
they follow this list. And this list changes every month because of our whatever inventory we have or whatever things we have, which is really cool because it helps to move things out, helps to keep things fresh, and the people in the back know what to do. And she knows I love things that are pretty and whatnot. Look at how
She's better at that than I am at
you're
honoring
working
your.
on that.
I'm
You
trying.
are working on that. Like you
But Jen-
really worked on getting pretty stamps for our last marathon.
did.
really
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Yeah, that's wild that there's like a menu and the prearranged boxes, especially ones on Thanksgiving. There, I was kind of blown away by how much food they get,
Yep.
and because it was like it was a box of food and 2 bags
Of
of
produce.
produce
Yep.
and a turkey, sometimes 2 turkeys depending on how big the family was.
Yep.
And a pie.
Which was and a pie.
Mostly not lemon meringue, but
No.
one lemon meringue.
And that's where Jen. It's funny. We all bring something different to the table. Jen is, by I think she went to like she's an engineer. I mean, really. And so, but she raises her family, and now they're, then she kind of found us. But so, I mean, her mind is just like they're seeing the big picture, and then there's like seeing, like I don't even know how to like being able to out on your screen and just see. So she can just see and keep track of the inventory and know, very quickly what what we're out of, what we need to do, how to substitute it, who should go there, finding jobs for people who
Right.
come to volunteer.
Oh, Jen, don't forget you have to put the order in for the food bank.
Probably-
Even
she
though you're on
probably already did it.
vacation.
She probably already did it.
Did you already do it? Let us know.
So
And,
quiet
and
tonight.
she wore this out so much, this beautiful little bag that she has, that we got her a new one to carry her stuff around.
There you go.
Nice, nice.
I think
yeah.
it's all about being a good team.
Yeah, that's a lot of
because
talent for someone to, rotate inventory and
It
kind of
is.
predict what
Right.
they're going to need.
And where to put it, where to
down the
store it,
road.
where it is after you've put it
Right.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, yeah.
My wife busts on me because I never understand volume. I can estimate distances really well, and if like something will fit somewhere, that was the carpenter in
Oh,
me.
very
But
good.
like when it comes to like, measure out a cup, like when we're making food or like putting away leftovers, like yeah. I always have like either too small or way too big of a container, and I just like it just goes right along with I do not work with food or in
No.
restaurants because I like cannot be a predictor of
Not your
that. Yeah,
And,
that's
and
not
all
where I'm
these
at.
years of doing it, I've taken my skills to my own refrigerator too. And my husband put away something last night in this bowl that was this big, and I'm like, no, I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to break it down into 2 small containers or whatever. It's like a puzzle. It's really like a puzzle. You just learn how to fit everything where it goes and fit things in the box. And
Especially with our small space too.
yeah,
Right.
with our small
Right.
space.
And sometimes
So
the
speaking of the produce bags,
oh,
Oh, there you go. What's this? This
That-
for
that is your swag
and there's
because
one for Kyle too.
there's one
My
for Kyle
swag.
too.
Yeah.
Mindy said that your letter says that we have to bring
I
swag.
did not say any of those
I
words.
did
I
not.
didn't say you have to bring. I just know other
Oh,
people
wow.
brought.
You know I'm very
Other
attention
people
deficit.
bring swag. So
Oh, okay.
we
Where's
just
your
wanted
bag?
To, it's over here. It's
Oh.
for Kyle.
Okay, so we have a bag for Kyle
So
too.
we have a Friends of Assisi food pantry notebook.
Yeah.
So
which
you
is
can make
awesome.
lists of things you have
Lists.
to do.
And there's a couple of business cards in it.
Yeah, so that card is just some scripture, from
Oh.
scripture to,
I love that for you.
and then that's our card. Those are the cards we give to our clients to tell them when they can come back.
Yeah.
I designed that when I had
Well,
a
just
lot to
stay
do, but I
hydrated.
didn't want to do it.
Oh, is this water? Because I drink too much on this podcast.
Well, let me tell you about this water. This is alkaline water,
Yeah.
which is better for you. The more alkaline your body is, the less disease and cancer you get.
Oh, wow.
Yep, and
Okay.
that's emergency to boost your immune system. And that is in case you have a stomach ache, you can have a cup of tea. That is our bumper sticker.
Okay, bumper sticker. My goodness, there's tons of stuff in here.
That is a flashlight that may or may not work.
If not, you could put it on the table.
Keychain.
That flashlight is from our 25th anniversary. Those are tissues for when
Tissues.
people come to the podcast that have colds.
Nice.
That's, you know what, that's sandalwood
straw.
incense.
Oh.
Like, who doesn't want sandalwood incense, right?
Sandalwood. Okay.
Yeah. If you burn sandalwood incense, you automatically become cooler. That's
Oh, okay.
I like frankincense and myrrh, though.
I
too.
like frankincense, too.
Yeah.
And a pencil.
Jesus loves you.
Candy.
Candy.
Nice.
This is always
The
a
dentist
winning.
loves you.
Yeah. The dentist loves you. I love that.
That's
And
our brochure.
yeah.
And on the back of the brochure is the prayer for peace. And that's sometimes we'll say the prayer for peace with the clients. That's St. Francis's prayer for peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. And when we first started the food pantry, one of the things Father John told me that every morning when I wake up, one of the first things I do is I say, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. So
Oh,
I do
wow.
that too when I wake up.
Yeah.
No.
That's really cool. Thank you so much for
You're
all this. And a
welcome.
pen.
And a pen that
Yeah.
may or may not work.
I have faith. It works.
And that's a Friends of Assisi pen.
Yeah.
So
And there's more candy and
Oh, those are
more
nice.
Those are-
probiotic.
those are probiotic wipes. If you pump gas and you want to wipe your hands or wipe your hands before you, that has lavender, tea tree.
Yeah.
Probiotics kills 99% of the germs. It doesn't have any harsh chemicals.
Nice.
So those are
Wow.
all lovely things for you to have.
Thank you so much.
A little healthy stuff, a little candy. Oh, the candy.
You're
So
going to put next to the maker's mark.
Yes.
the candy.
I love that.
The St. James kids decided that they were going to have a candy drive for the food pantry, and that's what they did. They collected a ton of candy, and the kids all brought it down. And it's the sweetest thing because you wouldn't think that, like, we've never had anyone have a candy drive, but our people love
They were
it.
sweet. Yeah.
It was so sweet, and Mindy puts it on the front desk when she takes the front table when she takes their names down, and they love the candy.
They sure do.
They just love the candy. So that was from St. James. It was really cool.
Nice, nice. Yeah, the Maker's Mark. Thanks to Hank. Oh, hold on. Let me put a camera on it. There we go. This is Maker's Mark that Hank's restaurant sent
Nice.
Nice.
as a thank you for having them on the podcast last week.
Oh,
Maybe that's
is
why I
that
said
bourbon?
that.
So,
What is that?
It is bourbon,
Bourbon,
yeah.
yeah.
You want some?
I might try some. Yeah,
Well, all
Here we
right.
go.
I'll try a tiny bit.
Woohoo.
It's a hard job I have, and I don't get paid either. So
That's the other thing I don't think people realize a lot of times, that none of us get paid for
No,
that. You know what I mean?
no, yeah.
And not that that's obviously not why we're doing it, but it's
Right.
just, I think that kind of makes it even more special.
I think so too. And but we don't even want to get paid.
I knew that's why
It's-
Harmon was going to come pick us up.
We do, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a DD that's going to be picking
Exactly.
us up. So.
And if
All right.
not, we're going to plug the Killingly Police later, who we do love.
Thank you for not giving me a ticket the other day coming down
Should
Reynolds.
we do a cheers to,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you
cheers to
so
the
much,
podcast?
To Matt and to Kyle, I
That's
hope
right,
you
and
feel
to
better.
Kyle.
Kyle. Yeah.
2025.
You
you
know what?
supposed to do
Kyle should
something with
have
it?
this
Swill it, or-
because my mom, when our kids
A
were
hot
sick,
toddy.
she would do honey, whiskey, and lemon. This is bourbon, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah. So when it comes to bourbon, there's many ways to drink it. First, I start out.
Woo!
I start out neat,
Yeah.
and then in which this one's very smooth. You can.
It is smooth,
can-
actually.
It's smooth,
Mm.
but it's not quite
Yeah. This
what
is
I'm accustomed to.
this is the Maker's Mark, number 46, Bill's recipe.
I think
And
my
it's-
aunt used to drink that. She was a
It's-
100-year-old, and she was a nun. She was,
Wow.
I swear to God, true story.
And it was.
Are they named after presidents?
I don't
Was this
know.
one going to put us to sleep? I'm just kidding.
You're funny.
It's just it says Bill's recipe number 46 after Bill Sanjak Jr. Bill Jr. finished this expression with virgin French oak staves for extra wood spice.
Mm.
It is sweet.
Bolder notes of vanilla and caramel and a longer finish.
Mm. It's nice.
So when I was old, I was going to drink this.
Yeah.
You know,
How old is old? I'm
I
just
don't
curious.
know, like maybe 80, like 70s, mid 70s.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Yeah, you know, just sit and drink your.
So can you
Yeah.
imagine when the food pantry first started? I was in my 30s. That's how long ago it was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In my 30s, pregnant with my third child.
And you just had your first drink of bourbon? Is that
Yes, it was my first drink of bourbon. Yes.
Yeah, so when
That you know of. I do remember. Right, we all had those nights.
Yeah, we all don't remember those nights. Thanks for bringing it up, Mindy.
We've all been there.
So, like, if it's not this smooth, you can add a drop of water. And sometimes I like doing that just because it changes the flavor profile
Really?
so much. Yeah, it like
Huh.
separates the oil.
So how do you get a drop in, or do you just like
I-
pour?
Well, if you put a little on your finger and let it drop in,
That
that's
little.
oh,
Okay.
even yep. So now it'll change
All right, let's
the
see what this
profile
does.
quite a bit, and
That burns the hair off your nose.
Sleep good tonight.
Wow,
it's totally different, right?
what a difference that makes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
just
do it now too.
a little bit of water.
I feel like I can sing now. What a difference a drop of water makes. No.
That's it, just like a couple
Yep,
drops.
just a drop,
All right.
and then that changes. And then if it's still not smooth enough, you can add ice or a mixer.
Just even smells different.
See what you're missing, Jen?
To Jen.
To Jen.
It
We
does
miss
taste-
you,
Here, here.
Jen. Come
I
home
think it
soon.
feels like it's stronger now. Maybe it's just kicking in.
I mean, everybody's palate is different,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but it just to me it just changes the flavor profile, and it as you add water, it can smooth it out. But like when you have, for me, when you have a higher end bourbon, it's usually smoother, and you don't need to do anything.
Very nice.
And
Well, thanks, Hank.
yeah,
Yeah. Thank, you, Hank.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Matt and Amy were really they were a lot of fun on,
Yeah,
on
so
here and
nice.
stuff.
I'll
and
have to
then-
watch it.
Yeah, we have to. I
We
started
went-
to watch it. and then
We
something
went
happened, yeah.
last spring when that group was
Oh,
playing.
Brian Malone was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
And they
according
were-
to
they were
Matt,
the
they
owners
just
then.
picked.
They were just we were there Saturday night.
Yeah,
and
they're awesome.
we
Brian's
missed it.
great.
Tino and Malone.
Tino
Yeah.
Malone, yeah.
yeah.
So
they
we
were great.
had them at my husband's retirement party, but what happened was his friend Tino, whatever, he wasn't able to play there. I think there was a death in the family. So he was going to come by himself, and then he brought somebody else, and then it poured more rain in the world than it's ever poured before.
Wow.
So their equipment was getting all ruined and everything else. So they ended up coming in the living room of our house, and they did a little show in our living
Like a
room.
little
Wow.
acoustic thing, right?
Yeah, it was great.
Oh,
I
that's
couldn't go.
cool.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
couldn't go. Did you have pink eye?
Pink eye for like 2 months. I watched my niece, and I'm like, "What's happening?" She had it for like 2 days, and
Yeah.
then I'm like 4
Yeah,
weeks
when you
later.
start being around babies again, and you
Oh
haven't
my
been around them.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got to
That
build
was
your immune
crazy.
system up again.
But it
But
all worked
anyhow,
out the
they
way
were
it should.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We asked them to do John Denver, and
So I think we met
So good.
Matt and Amy when we went to that last
That
spring.
night,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
we
'cause I think
did.
they just recently. How long have they owned it now?
It was just their anniversary is like this week.
Yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah.
for
That's cool.
so that
buying it.
was in May because we were
Yep.
coming back from Ladies'
Ladies'
Day
Day
Apart.
Park. Yep.
We went to a Christian Woman's Day, and then we went to the bar after.
Some of us did. Yeah. I mean, went to the Christian. I didn't get to go to the Christian's Women's Day, but I
Oh,
made it
you
to the
didn't go
bar.
that?
No, no, I couldn't go. That's
Didn't
another
skip the
story.
bar though. We
I
got
did
there.
not. Priority, sir.
We're just a little bit of everything.
Perfect.
Yeah. Perfect combination.
But anywho,
Back to I kind of want to circle back to Rainey Barbeau and the church's I don't know their role in Friends of Assisi. Rainey Barbeau is one of my number one mentors. He brought me into real estate and taught me
Nice.
so much. And we
Yeah.
throughout the years we've covered for each other on vacation and
Nice.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. And you know, if you can say a little prayer for Rainey, he's had some health
We will.
issues
Yeah, I've been
this
praying
year.
for him.
And,
And the other day I had this little nudge. You need to tell Rainey to use Father Joe's healing oil. And I haven't
okay.
seen him in a while to reach out and tell him that, but like I had that I get these nudges sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I'm going to tell him he's got to use that.
Do you think he has it?
I think that Father Joe, before he passed, had left some at the
Oh, okay.
rectory.
So-
So I'll check in and see if they have
Nice.
some for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, he's just intricate in so many
Yeah.
areas of the community. You know, with the school, with the church,
Mm.
helping us. You know, whenever
Yeah,
we need anything,
yeah.
and mentoring. You know,
Yeah.
just taking care of his own. And yes,
Right, yeah.
he's a true asset.
Yeah. When he's feeling better, I want to have him on.
Oh,
Nice.
he would love
That
because
would be
he's like
fun.
he's
Yeah.
a deacon of St. James. He was
Many
hats.
he was a police officer for 30
Right,
years in the
right, yeah.
community. It was he's just
Yep.
been, I don't know, just a million things to everybody.
Yep.
And yeah, he's one of my favorites. So
Yeah.
Life well lived. Yep, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep, definitely.
And he's-
That's a reminder for me to pray for him.
and he's a deacon at the church. Now, what is the church? Are they like your charter? Is that how that
so,
works?
No,
or-
so originally we did start in the basement of the
They
St.
were your
James basement.
landlords.
Yeah. And then it was difficult getting volunteers because a lot of people didn't relish the idea of running up and down the stairs through the washroom into the tiny little room and then run back upstairs. And um, and then I was thinking I was probably gonna well, so Paulette, one of the original founders, had decided that she was going to go to school to be a teacher, and then Mary decided she was going to go to school to be a social worker, and that just left me and a few volunteers. So we connected at that time with the Council of Churches, and they helped us to get the little building on Water Street.
yeah. Was that donated or
No,
was it
it
a
wasn't
purchase?
donated. Clay Hooper owned it, and we paid rent to Clay Hooper.
Oh, okay.
And he was very fair about that too. I
Very
think.
fair about the rent, yeah. And then one day, in the middle of the night, I woke my husband up and I said, "We need to buy the building." And when I had received the humanitarian award from the Chamber of Commerce, and I had given a little speech, and I said, my husband always jokes that other people say, "Oh, I want diamonds, I want this," and my wife wants a dilapidated old building. And so we ended up buying the building, and we separated from the Council of Churches, and we eventually, through many years later, we were paying rent to Clay Hooper, but then we eventually obtained our 501c3, and we bought the building, my husband and I did. And then we ended up selling the building many years later at a very, really, really cheap price. It was about $60,000, I think.
Back to the you were able. So Friends of Assisi was able to. We went from having a few $100 in the account and a few shelves of food to a place where you could I wasn't there at that time, could buy the building back from you and Jay.
Right.
Wow.
And at that time, Dan Santos also helped us to get our 501c3. So we wouldn't have to, we were paying so many taxes on the building and on some, and we were using donations to try to do that. So
Shout out to Dan Santos. It's been
Santos.
intricate in the
and
work that he
is
does.
so patient with us because my mind does not work the way his mind does. Thank
Your
God.
mind doesn't work. Yeah, like how anyone
Yeah.
else I know.
And when we go to visit him, if we have to sign papers and we'll peek into his office, he is sitting at a desk that is surrounded by stacks and stacks of papers, and he's just calmly like writing away. He's been such a blessing to us, such a blessing. So he helped us to get our 501c3, and on the day that he brought it over to the food pantry for me to sign it, there was a stack this high of things he had to do for us, and he's still doing things for us. He's the most patient, kindest person with this wonderful mind to do all that CPA stuff that we could never do because we have our thing that we have our gift and he has his gift.
Yeah.
So he helped us to get the 501c3, and now the food pantry owns the building, and all the churches in the area support us. It's like
So we're kind of like a non-denominational, all-denominational sort of.
we're just a faithful food
Right, we're
pantry that everybody helps
faith-based,
out.
is what we call ourselves. So
Yeah, and at Thanksgiving time, different churches are like the like the Federated Church is in charge of stuffing, and they have been for years and years. And
So they will just come through with like
400 bags of
boxes
stuffing.
stuffing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or potatoes or olives, pickles, all the different churches
Yeah.
really
And
take
the
part in
Lutheran
that.
church, when that was here, and it's not here anymore, used to do carrots. And St. James just gives whatever, and they come to the food drive
And they
and
help
give
the kids will break it
monetary
down.
donations.
Yep, yeah, and they help
yeah,
us set up
they
and
do
break
food
down
drives,
and
and
do food drives.
so they're like in charge of everything. And
Yeah.
so different church. Oh, the Methodist church, that's the potato church. They're in charge of potatoes. So
So when we say it takes a village, it really does.
It
I
really
mean,
does,
it really
Sounds
yeah.
like it.
truly
There's
does.
so many moving parts,
Yep.
so
There
many
are, yeah.
different contributors,
Absolutely.
and there's so many different ways to contribute. If
Mhm.
anyone's
Yeah.
out there listening, I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
there are.
We have a
there's so
gentleman.
many ways to help.
Absolutely. And I think you have to listen to your heart, which you're really good about saying. Sometimes we'll be like, what do you need? What do you. And we have a list of things that we need, but we also feel like if you feel like this is something you want to
Because
do.
Jen is very organized,
She's
she's very
so
efficient,
organized.
and she has this organized. But we always say, and whatever's in your heart.
Right.
What do you think you would like to give?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
There's something special that you love, like say you love butterscotch candy. Okay, then
Yep.
bring us a bag of that.
We will share it.
And we'll share it.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times, that was one thing I kind of try to take into like when I'm Christmas shopping is if somebody's given you the same gift repeatedly, like I have a family member that
It means they might want it.
gives lottery tickets. It was actually on a radio show that I heard that it says a lot of times they're giving something because they want
Yeah.
that same gift. So
Yeah.
I made sure and
That's
I made a
smart.
note and bought lottery tickets for that person
That's
this
awesome.
year.
And I think that's true,
Yeah.
and I think
It's
that's
very perceptive.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
very good.
Now, Gene, you're noted as the frugal one, and I love hearing that because when you donate like a monetary gift, you want to know that somebody's being responsible with it. So,
Very responsible.
what's the process that you go through for purchasing items?
Okay, so
We
and
don't.
well, I'm trying not to be as frugal because I also want to honor. Sorry, Mindy.
That's okay.
I talk with my hands, and
I know.
That's okay.
we have to be very
That's all
close
right.
tonight.
That's good.
I want to honor the needs of, for instance, if Jen needs, she recently wanted to buy some more yellow totes. So all our pre-made boxes we put in yellow totes. We put the bags in there. We make them ahead of time. We close them up. They're safe. They're protected. And then when the clients come to the window, the yellow tote goes there. We open it up. We take the stuff out. We give it to them. We needed more recently. Every time she has a need or we have a need, I try to be like, okay, don't be so frugal that you're going to interfere with the process.
But do ask if there's a coupon available. Right. So he's very happy if you have a coupon. Yeah.
So she'll say, I think we need 6 more totes. And I'll be like, 6 more totes? What's that going to cost? And I'll be thinking, but it's okay because I want to honor the monetary donations that people are giving. I want to honor that because right now times are really tough for people and they're still giving.
Yeah.
They're still giving no matter what they're going through and what their finances are. They're still giving. So I really want to honor what they're giving us. But I also want to honor what we need to do to be efficiently running the system that we have going.
Right. And it's a balance, I'm sure. And I mean, it's kind of obvious that you've done really well with it being you're still open after 35 years.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you guys are, the process is doing really well. Whether you're loaded with donations or not, it's something to be, really proud of the way you guys have
You should-
managed
Right.
it.
Very proud.
So,
Yeah. And like the food bank will say, so we put an order in once a month and Jen and I take turns. And when it's my turn, I scrutinize the ingredients because I want it to be healthy. Say, where there's this blue thing and it's called something, something. I go, blue? That's not really a natural color of food. What are the ingredients of that? Because it's so cheap. Well, that's a good buy. We could really serve a lot of people. And then I'll read the ingredients. Oh, it's FDC red mixed with, well, It was red then. It
Can't
might
be
not be
red
there anymore.
Yeah.
But it's red and something else. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care if it's cheap and I am frugal, but I want to buy something that's wholesome and that's going to be healthy. So I'll
Right.
say no to that even though it's cheap. So even
Yeah.
though I'm frugal, I'm still very thoughtful and mindful about what I'm going to buy when I'm going to purchase from the food bank.
Yeah, and that's another balance of, you want people to feel full and satiated. At the same time, you don't want to make them sicker or put them into a worse situation because
Exactly.
there's too much junk food. So
Exactly.
if
Right.
anyone out there would just kind of keep that in mind, and yeah, to be healthier usually costs more.
For
you
sure.
know,
Usually costs
For
more.
sure.
for
So I'm comfortable giving them a handful of candy because I'm also giving them carrots, potatoes, onions, sweet potatoes, and oranges and apples.
right.
Which is what
Yeah.
we gave out last week, I believe. So
Yeah.
and
And
we
that's to every person. So that's like
yeah,
that's a lot of food. That's
It is a
great
lot
that
of
they
food.
can
Yeah.
benefit so well from
Yeah.
it.
right,
So,
yeah, yeah.
And it is important, we do try to keep that in mind because we do poverty and health issues do kind of go hand in hand.
mm,
I mean, they really do. So
Yeah.
it's like it's very important to us that people's needs are not only met. Like you said, you want people to be satiated. Everyone likes that mac and cheese once in a while or whatever
right,
it is.
right.
But
Right, right, yeah.
we're very dedicated to the farmers market program. I think I mentioned that earlier. And so during the summer months, we will give out coupons to people, which are just like money, and they can go to any of the local farmers
Hats off to
markets.
Jewett City
Yeah.
because that's where we get the grant from to be able to do
Yep,
that. We
that's right.
created
And
a farmers
diapers, yep.
market
Oh, wow.
program years ago and a
And
diapers program.
So
yeah.
we'll give them so many dollars to go, and they can go to the farmers market, and which is great because they can walk to them too. You know what I mean? They're right in town. There's one at the library on Saturdays. There's one up at where a big job lot is.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
Brooklyn, yeah.
Thursdays. So it works out really well.
So we give them the voucher and then they give it to the farmer and then the farmer mails it back to us at the end of the season and then we send them a check.
Yep.
you know.
Wow, that's really cool. And
Yeah.
that's something that's how Jewett City Savings, the
So
local
we
bank,
ask-
donates.
So we asked for the money for that.
There's
And
grant. They have a grant. that
Yeah.
you
grant,
can
and we
apply for.
applied for it.
Mhm.
Wow.
Well,
And
Mindy does it every year.
Yeah.
Laura used to do it. Now Mindy
Yeah,
does it.
and that's what we do. And so they want to know how you're going to spend the money. And so that is primarily that and diapers. We do a lot of diapers and baby wipes too for the clients, which is another. I mean, how expensive are those?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're able to provide those too with the help. I can't say enough about the community. Like
Yeah.
I really can't. Even we had the Killingly police come in the other day. Such a nice man. I can't remember his name, and
Howie?
Hmm?
Was it a Howie?
No,
Oh.
the fella who always is outside of Stop and Shop. Mark? No, I can't. The
Mark.
Mark.
Yes.
Is that his name? So
Sorry.
he's just very. So he came in. He said, "Hey, I just want to let you guys know there's this fella's hanging out at the library," and we're like, "Is it Rick?" He's like, "No, no, it's not. Is it so and so? No, no." It's like so he. As much as we know the people in the community, like so does he.
He really did.
Right,
And
Yeah,
he doesn't, and
did,
he's like,
yeah.
we know he struggles, and we know, and it was just like so. And he was giving us a heads up that this other cat may be coming through, and was just being a little bit whatever. And so
Well, he
it's
was being a little bit antagonistic towards the
to
librarian.
his librarian,
And
who's like,
let's
they're the
just
nicest people
Give
in
a
the
plug
world.
for them
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh,
Yeah.
they're the best.
Our
Claudette and
Kelly
her
Library,
staff.
Yeah.
Claudette, and
Killing the library.
they're so fine.
we're-
They're such a fine group of people,
Yeah.
and they are just so kind. And we do our registration there every year in the community room,
That's right.
and they're so accommodating for
Yeah.
us, and they're just
And we try to read a lot in this family, so it literally takes both Brooklyn and Killing the Library to keep my
Nice.
daughter
That's
and my
awesome.
wife
Yeah.
flush with
Yeah.
books.
Good for
that's
them.
great. Yeah.
That's great.
Um,
No, there's such, you don't think of the library, or at least I never did before I joined the food pantry, as such a resource for the community, which is
Yeah.
what they're supposed to be.
Right.
And they really are.
Because they're a warming center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it's really hot out and people don't have air conditioning, they can go in there and quietly sit and read and stuff. They're very kind. And they used to collect food for us,
That was
but
the funniest story.
they
huh?
don't anymore because people would come in to like sit in the air conditioner or the warm or whatever, and they'd be hungry. So they would be collecting food for us. So then they just started
Well, the
giving it
people,
away.
well, so what would happen is the people who were in the library would just start like taking the food out of the thing and eating it. And so a
The
few
people coming into the library
right.
would do
And
that,
so, and Claudette, somebody was trying to stop them, and Claudette said, no, like, are we going to collect the food?
Give it to
Bring it down to the food pantry so those people who are here right now at the library can go to the food pantry and get it. She's like, let them eat it. You know what I mean? And I was like, brilliant. You know,
Right.
something as
Right.
simple as that, it makes all the difference in the world.
Right,
You know?
right, yeah.
It's just common sense. And I don't know if you want any more of that.
I may switch over to water.
Okay.
I don't want to drain your
never
bottle
tried
on you.
Okay, here we go. My drinking buddy.
Where did you find this?
A Christian gave it to me for Christmas.
Ah,
Oh,
shout out to
very
Christian
good.
Serendopoulos.
Yeah,
Thank you
Serendopoulos,
for the
yeah.
wine. It is
Thank
delicious.
you, Kristen, for the
That was-
wine.
He did a nice donation to his office when I lost my
Oh,
dad.
when
Which
Bob
is
died,
another
yeah.
piece of our, we do a lot of memorials, which is another way that we make money. And so in lieu of flowers,
Make
you can-
money.
well, for make money
For
our
Friends of
right,
Assisi,
right.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we make money so we can.
Yeah.
But it's been really wonderful, in that way,
Oh, that's nice.
isn't it? I thought you'd like,
Especially after that.
right?
What are you trying to say?
You have to work up.
It's
to
just
that.
a little stronger than I'm used to. That's
Yeah.
That's why in my 70s I'll drink that.
all. Mine are around
I'm
the
going to
corner,
hold you
so
to
know.
that.
I need to get used to this now then, because
Maybe
mine
we'll
are right
still be
around the
sitting
corner.
table.
Yeah.
I know. One more year.
Yeah.
Mm. So I know I probably asked you this last year, but do you have a protege to kind of take over for your role, Jean?
I don't think anyone can take my place.
Well, I wasn't saying that. I was saying
How could you?
try to take over the duties that.
I don't know. I don't know what God's plan is for me.
Mhm.
When Pauline left, who was my assistant director, I just thought I cannot stay here anymore because I miss her so much. She moved to North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And so my plan was to retire when I was 65. And Mindy showed up, and I really liked Mindy. She was awesome.
All right.
Mindy came in for an interview, and then I gave her a little tour, and then she left crying. She was like crying because it just really touched her. So those are the people you want who
Yeah.
come in and then they cry, And then COVID hit, and I thought I'm just going to stick around and make a new protocol and get everything in order so that we can still stay open because we're not going to shut down. We're still
Right.
going to serve people, and I don't care
Who's going
what
to arrest you about
Fauci
it?
says or whatever.
100%.
We are going to take care of the people in need. So I'll get this protocol going, and then I'll leave. And I don't know, what was that, 4 years ago? Something like that. So I don't know. I don't know what God's plan is for me.
Well, you're still going strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm like, we tell her if you want to travel, if you want to take a day off, if you just like, you can.
Right,
You know,
right,
Yeah.
For it.
And
Yeah.
you've already talked about, the attributes of the team, like, Jen and Mindy.
Right,
So
right,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure, Friends of Assisi's in pretty good hands.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
we could never replace you, but,
Thank you. Obviously not.
I just.
Like, Mindy,
I-
did you tell him to ask these questions? I'm not retiring.
my thing is for any charity or any kind of outreach program is like there's a lot of times you'll have the same handful of volunteers and they get burnt out, or they get to a point in their life where they want to retire, or they want to move on, or they want to step back
Right,
a little
right,
bit.
yeah.
Even if like if you even as simple as going from the director to I just want to serve food on Tuesday and
Right,
Friday,
right,
or,
yeah.
Or like attorneys do
that-
when they become of counsel. You know what I mean? Where it means that their name stays on the letterhead, but they just they can come and go.
yeah, and just
She's not. She's like,
Right.
talk to me next year, Matt.
but we
just
will.
don't know.
First Monday of February is
Yeah.
kind of always yours now.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, there was a time she talked about it, but
I talked about it a lot.
then it was like my parents both got sick, and
my
there
mom,
was
yeah,
no
my
way.
mom died, and then your mom died, and then your dad died, and a lot of stuff happened. And I just felt like, I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
mhm.
And
And we'll keep her as long as she'll have us, or
as long as they're nice to me.
No,
Right.
And it's like it's awesome. We've got a great board of support.
Yeah, we do.
And and we don't. I wouldn't say they are involved with the day to day, but if anything, ever we feel like we need to get their weigh in on that, we were able to reach out to them, and we meet annually as well, and just kind of go over everything.
What's
That
that
takes.
sound of flowing water?
Oh, sorry. Somebody flushed the toilet or used the sink. Yeah, we're in a basement. Sorry. I don't know if they hear it. I don't know if it always registers on the thing, but
For those of you at
I was
home.
thinking about I was picturing this waterfall. So cool.
we're trying to check and test our bladder, see if we have to go now.
I know.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry. So what did you say? I'm
Remember.
constantly interrupting her. She's
Well,
so
it's what we
patient with
do.
me.
We
That's
have to do
okay.
that.
But we were just talking about the idea of prolonging, trying to prolong the, basically the legacy of Friends of Assisi,
Right,
and
yeah.
and making sure that we get kind of like a rolling cast of
Right, yeah.
people and volunteers and
Yeah. And you're right, Matt. That is ongoing. And I would say almost a year, was it almost a year ago? That we had about 4 different people reach out and say that they would like to volunteer. And there's a lot of stories going around for many years about, like Molly, for instance, saying she wanted to volunteer and took a long time for me to get back.
Oh, those are true stories.
In my defense.
But I think in God's time, like in a way, that's what I did. I reached out to you. I got to a point where I was just doing the 9 to 5 or whatever, and I just talked to my husband. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to find another way, and I want to do more. You know what I mean? I just think it's time. Like I raised the family, I did that, and so I did reach out to you, and you did not get back at all, and it was fine. And I just kind of went around doing my different thing.
I didn't know how to do messaging. I
Okay.
didn't really know how to do, and that's how she reached out.
I did, yeah.
Oh, through Facebook Messenger.
And it's weird. That sound I made.
That's okay.
Like, boom.
And it's weird how I connected with Mindy because my husband was talking about, he wanted to get involved in his class reunion, and he wanted to get a hold of, which turns out is your
Sister-in-law.
sister-in-law. So I said, well, let's. So I opened up my Facebook.
Betty's sister Nancy. So Betty Sheldon.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
was on the
She
show.
was on
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Tommy Toy Fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So then I opened up my Facebook, and Megan came up playing basketball. And then I said, let me go in and look at Megan. And then somehow your message came up 5 months after you put it in there.
7 months
5, 7
ish.
whatever.
Yeah, and I basically just said I want to help. I want to help out. I didn't even know. Isn't that sad though? Like up until that point, I didn't really. I knew that Meg went to St. James and that we used to once a year we'd help out at Thanksgiving at the at the gym.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what y'all did down there in that little corner though.
Right,
And
yeah.
it's crazy how many people don't know.
Right.
That we're right there. And so I just.
Yeah, so trying to help my husband find a connection for the class reunion, there was Mindy's message, and I said, look, I have this message from 5 months ago,
Ish.
7 months ago. Let me answer her back.
Yeah.
And so then she came down for an interview, and it was just, the timing was so perfect.
Yeah.
The timing was very perfect, and she was perfect for the spot. She had a big heart, and we
Thank
just
you.
really connected, and she cried, and
It's one of those things that was just like it was meant to be at
Yeah.
that time, and just like probably everything that's happening from day to day is just
Yep.
it's
happening all in the
Serendipity.
yeah.
meant to be, and it's kind of like it creates your story, and
Yeah.
my wife and I always just kind of gave each other a night per week to go and do whatever. And for a long time, I hung out with younger cousins and stuff. They didn't have families and whatnot, so we would hang out and do that a lot on my one night a week. And then where you don't have the kids, and we
Right,
were just
right.
like that kind of
Right.
thing.
Right.
And
yeah.
then this idea hit me for the podcast,
yeah.
and I went from being kind of like a barfly and just hanging out
Yeah.
into now I do this on my one
Which
night
is
off.
amazing,
And,
you know?
It
and
is amazing.
How many episodes is this? Like
this is 68.
68?
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
That's dedication.
and it's just been so fun and rewarding, and just to see where it's gone, and having Kyle here, our relationship has gotten better and more fun, and
Yeah.
our families hang out, and it's just been more fulfilling as far as what I'm doing with those couple of hours on a
Yeah.
regular night.
Yeah.
And it's
And you're still having a
it's
blast.
one of the, yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know what I
I,
mean?
like
Yeah.
I can't get enough of it. I mean,
Yep.
there's been times where we've done 2 in 1 week, and
No kidding.
I'm always anxious on Monday to get down here and get everything fired up,
Right,
do
right,
up the
yeah.
notes, and
That's awesome.
Kyle's been sick, so I've been doing been pulling his weight too.
Kyle.
He still needs you, Kyle. Don't let him fool you. He's doing a terrible job. He still needs you.
That's why
That's
we have
for
to
sure.
sit so close together, Kyle.
And if you watch the monitor, I still you rest on this switcher board. So I don't know if I don't know if everybody knows this, but there's a switcher here that switches the camera angle, and Kyle does it in live
Yes.
time while he's still
While
talking to us.
chatting, yeah.
And if you watch his episodes versus mine, he has way better control over
Right.
it.
And when you sit on that side,
Yeah.
you are totally engaging with people, and on this side, you have to do you
little
are
technical
engaging,
stuff,
but you
yeah.
still have to do this side stuff. I
Right.
get it. I
Yeah.
get that because when
Yeah.
I used to work in the office at the food pantry, and you would take people's information and you would try to listen to their problems and do stuff like that too. Listen to that humming,
Yep.
and do that stuff too, and you still have to type stuff in, and at the same time, it was a lot of multitasking.
Oh, yeah,
which I
and-
didn't like because I want to just be 100% engaging with
Right.
the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And note taking for sure would take me right out of this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I do not do note taking
Right,
at all.
right. Yeah.
No.
Although I did give you a notebook in case you ever have to do.
I
some notes for
actually,
Kyle.
I actually have been trying to write more things down that either happened.
Yeah.
More just trying to become more of a better storyteller. And
Yes.
stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's great.
I don't want
yeah.
to keep saying all the time. Which
Right.
You
Our
haven't really said
our
that.
viewers
No.
have been
Yeah.
very gracious in saying that I'm doing well, but
Yeah.
I watch them back, and I'm like, all right, I try and all right, you can improve on this, you can improve on that, and stuff like that.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
That's good.
No,
The
you're
growth,
not a
that's
number.
awesome.
You're not a number.
He used to be a number.
Did he
I
used to
think
number?
so. Yeah, a
Oh.
lot more. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, definitely not anymore.
Well, he's
Yeah.
come a long
That's
ways then
awesome.
because
Yeah.
I don't notice you.
And we feel
Yeah.
so relaxed. Like I feel like last year I felt a little bit nervous about coming on.
that could be Kyle's aura too.
Poor Kyle.
We miss Kyle.
Kyle.
Hey, I invited him to be on the phone here.
I
We were gonna try and put
know.
him on the phone so that we would hear his voice and stuff, but he's tired, and
get
he
it.
goes into
Yeah.
these coughing
Yeah,
fits,
get
and I was
better.
like, don't worry about it,
Oh,
buddy.
That's too bad.
So yeah, hopefully he's 100% by next week and whatnot, because
I think if you take some of that, thanks Hanks bottle,
bourbon.
There you go.
add some
Little
lemon
honey.
and manuka honey to it,
Yep.
he'll feel better in no time.
There you go.
Now, was this paneling up last time?
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
it was.
Yeah, none of what behind me has really changed
Changed,
a
okay.
whole lot.
Although those stickers weren't there before.
the
Reefs
the
America.
stickers. Oh, so those are magnets.
2 dogs. Oh, yeah, yeah.
and those are.
They came.
I don't
Did
have.
2 dogs come?
Oh yeah, twice.
That's my
They've
new
been on
favorite
twice.
place.
Oh,
they
they're
have
great.
the best chai
Yeah, they
there.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're-
and
really
I'm
good.
so attention deficit, and I can't get stuff done in my office at the pantry or my office at home, which isn't really an office.
Is that where you're hanging out now?
2 dogs, yeah.
Ah.
They have the
Ah.
best chai ever. It's
Nice.
so
Yeah.
delicious, and they're so nice there.
Yeah, Gwillem and Brittany have been just awesome, like supporting our posts and vice versa, and just they've been on twice now, and it was really cool to see when Gwillem was here and he did a coffee tasting with us, and he was
Oh,
like
really?
he was like our
Oh.
third or fourth episode. He was really early on,
Sweet.
and it's one of those things because our concept hadn't been proven, and I really felt like people are coming here with their careers,
Yeah.
their livelihood,
Right,
and
yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm responsible and taking that not lightly,
Right.
in a way where
It's their hearts.
We're-
They're bringing their hearts.
right. And a lot of people are doing this out of, they go, a lot of times you don't want to own a business for any other reason than you get to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of times there's a lot of downsides to owning a business, and I wanted to make sure that this platform made that better rather
Right.
than worse.
Right,
And
right.
they jumped right on it, said yes, came out. That's a leap of faith for our
Mhm,
first,
mhm.
so many
Exactly.
episodes,
Absolutely.
and like you said, I was an ummer at first.
Oh, you said it.
No, and then they opened up a shop on Main Street in Danielson,
Yep.
and they came on a few months after they had opened up, and it was just really cool to see. That's when both of them came on, and I love that. I love seeing like they're an online distributor, coffee roaster, and then now they have a brick and mortar.
Yep.
Which
Mhm.
is,
Yeah.
when you're doing business, that's one of the biggest expenses is to go brick and mortar.
Right,
Sure.
right, yeah.
And that's a bigger leap of faith in yourself, in your business,
Yep.
and then for them to just crush it with
Yeah.
such an amazing product. Their coffee
Yep.
is making snobs out of all of us.
Yeah, it's true.
I won't even think about going to the orange and red place or the
Or
green
the-
green one.
Mhm.
I told them,
might
thank
as well
God
be
I'm not
sewage.
addicted to Starbucks anymore, but your chai is the best chai I've ever had. So I actually ordered some.
We have to try their chai.
It's so good. It's Rishi, I think is the
Okay.
name of it.
Mm.
And it's got a little more ginger in it.
Maybe I'll go
It's so
tomorrow.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so nice because then I went across the street and discovered Joseph's Jewelers and brought my mother's ring there that I ruined in chlorine. And
wow.
they shined it up and fixed it up, and it was so beautiful. And now I feel like connected to my mom again. So
Very nice.
Nice. Shout out to Joseph's Jewelers too
Joseph
on Main
Jewelers,
Street.
yes. And when
that
I went in
bread
there,
place. Oh,
oh,
Bakery.
don't get it going on the Little River Company. Oh
Stop.
my God, so good. Hey, that idea you had.
it works.
So
doesn't it?
the bread, because it's all natural, it goes tough, really stale, like
There's
really
no
quick.
preservatives, so
Yeah.
you have to.
So
kinda eat
Mindy
it
has this little trick. You put a glass bowl over the bread
on a
Okay.
wood cutting
on a
board,
wood cutting
Wood
board.
cutting board.
So that's what I'm doing.
and it stays fresh.
Yesterday I had it with brie. Oh my God, it was
Yeah.
so good.
Wow.
So you get
We
a little
love
more
it.
left. Little more
So
life
hats
out of it.
off to the Little River
Bread.
Company.
Yep.
If you have any leftover
Mhm.
bread, bring it to Friends of Assisi Food Pantry, 77 in Water.
I like how that just happened. But even Warren from
Danielson
Surplus.
Surplus.
Surplus,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
he donates.
great.
He- He
I can't-
donates every
when
year.
Rena had her
Yeah.
place, she would do different things for us, like the
Mhm.
Yeah.
pumpkin. I mean, we couldn't. It does take a village, and
It does, yeah.
we got to.
So we're trying to get a little more involved with downtown, bring a little more
that
light
may
to
be our
them.
next tour.
Well, we're having a tour. We used to have the Grateful Church tour.
Yep.
But now we're going to have the.
We went to a few different churches
Yeah.
Went to
Yeah.
their services
Yeah.
and,
Oh,
and
wow.
talks and
because
stuff.
they're contributing to us.
Yeah.
We're-
Yeah.
Every
that's awesome.
church contributes to us.
Yep.
Every church does, and the people downtown, those businesses are the ones that are always people are asking them for things. Always asking them
Absolutely.
for things.
Yeah,
and
if you're
they're
having a party or whatever they
Or you're
want,
doing a
you do gift
fundraiser or
card.
whatever.
Right.
So we want to go and visit them and just thank them for being a part of downtown. Gloria's.
Yep.
Actually, Gloria was giving us products
Yep.
when she first opened.
Yep.
Sugars
Wow.
used to give us products when they first opened.
Yep.
Once they get established, they don't have as much leftovers. But
Right, once
Gloria
they
was
get it down.
nice. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I would imagine that's, kind of like the food industry when they sell out.
Right, right, yeah.
It's tough,
Good.
but
Yeah.
maybe down the line they get a little ahead and they'll have a monetary gift for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something
Yeah.
like that. So
It all works out.
um,
Works out.
that's it's really cool what you guys have built and the network of everything. And I remember last year we had talked about how like you were getting 18 wheelers of
Mhm.
stuff randomly
Yeah.
because they get rejected from
Yeah,
there,
yep.
and you guys had just a network of people putting them in their freezers
Absolutely.
and
We do now.
refrigerators.
We
and
have
stuff.
food in our freezers at home.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Big meats.
Yeah, and that's what Jen is great at too, because sometimes we'll have this food truck driver who will reach out to us, and we're talking like he's 20 minutes out,
Yeah.
and she'll like take a deep breath and she'll be like, what do you got? And he'll
Yeah.
be like, I got a pallet of dairy. I've got a pallet, and she'll like, you can see the wheels turning,
Yeah.
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 And next thing you know, okay, yep, we'll take it, and then next it's all hands on deck, and we're moving food around and switching the freezers around. I'm filling up my car with meat and
I am too.
Jean's too, moving into our house and making room, and
Yeah.
it's
And if the
amazing.
temperature's just right, we could put stuff on the table.
The
Like,
table.
Yeah.
Dreaded
Yep.
table.
On the
Yes.
table. Yes.
Love hate relationship at that table, I tell you, for sure, for sure. Wow,
great.
I tell you what, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's really something to see, and like I said last year, if you have that plethora of stuff coming in, you can keep my number. I'd love to run down there and help unload stuff. If
Absolutely.
that
Oh
happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, not always does the CWP get to donate, but we had a pretty good year, and the Community Workbench podcast families would like to donate
Aw.
this to you guys.
Oh, Matt's gonna make us cry again. And it's not even.
The
it's-
person who wrote the check would like to remain anonymous.
That must be your mother then.
H.
Ah. So good at that. There it is. We love them. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. I
Yep.
thank you guys so much for coming on here and,
No,
and
thank you for
sharing
having
your
us.
story.
Keep doing what you're doing too.
Hey.
Thank you. We need this. The community
plugging.
needs it, and it's not. It's hard. It's tedious, and
Yeah. And I love visiting with you guys. If nothing else, you are super grateful for everything. And that's just so fun to be around. And it makes you guys such an inspiration. So,
we appreciate you.
Yeah. You know
God.
what? We're grateful for you that we get a chance to just sit there. Like, we carry around a lot of stuff in our hearts, and I
Sometimes
think
we
it's just so nice that we can like talk.
And sometimes
about
we
it.
forget, or you get away from it, like, oh my God, it's so cold this week. I can't believe it. I can't take it another week. Or, oh no, so and so's at the window, or But it's like we do. Sometimes it's hard, but
yeah.
to come in here and sit down and talk about what we're doing and why we're doing it
Yeah.
really kind of like recenters us and focuses us and kind
And
of
like, and then just this stuff comes out. Like, I'm thinking about the table and the people that come to the table, but I'm also thinking about, like, we're able to unload all, like, some of the stuff that we carry around, like the sad stuff or the different clients that we have. And we love this one client. She disappeared, and she's been gone for like over a year.
Oh, wow.
And we really loved her. She had like these big brown
yeah,
Bambi
brown
eyes,
yeah.
and I gave her a really nice coat one time because she was so cold, and we hadn't seen her in quite a while, and she showed up a couple weeks ago, and she goes, "Hi, I'm here. I'm not dead."
Oh,
For real.
She
And
goes, "There's a rumor going around that I'm dead, but I'm not."
But it was just the fact that we recognized her, we said her name, just
We're
to have
so
someone. Can you
we're
imagine
so
going through your
happy to
life and like
see
you have to
her.
go around and say, just in case you're wondering, I'm not dead. Like, because no
Wow.
one else is going to tell you, and there's no obituary, and another one of those cases of
Yeah.
like,
now is she a success story? Does she
No.
not need to be a client anymore?
no,
We don't
no,
know.
no, no.
We're not sure. I did see her.
Success story that she's still alive. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Okay.
And honestly, God's like
Yeah.
for her, like getting through from day to day, I think is a success story.
Yeah,
You know,
I
Mm.
think
she has.
she's at the shelter now, but
Yep. No family, no, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
burned
tough.
probably every single bridge. She's had,
Oh.
and that's even the police will say that to us. So he's like, I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how, look around and be like, and we're just like,
well,
we're a
because
haven. Like,
her eyes,
yeah,
her eyes are just these beautiful,
no,
like Bambi eyes, and
Yeah.
it's like
but people have a lot of
that's
respect.
somebody's daughter, you
Right.
know, someone's
Yeah.
some dad's.
So I think it's
little
not a
girl.
success story. We see a lot of success stories. Like we do.
do.
I mean, we really do. I love it when someone comes to me and says they've gotten a job or they've found out what their health problem was or they were reunited with their child or I mean,
Yeah,
different
yeah.
stories. They're sober.
And last Friday was such a difference. The Friday before was so packed, but last Friday was so different. And I got to go out and talk to different clients, different guests, and they would say, "Oh, do you have this?" And someone would call, "I need like feminine products or whatever. I go, you know what? Just come down and look at it. And they were so like relieved they could pick out things they needed.
Mhm.
Somebody else, I don't,
Like, how
there
would you
was,
like it if you had to go, like, if you all of a sudden you were going to do shave, but you had to use whatever razor they
Ugh,
gave you
yeah.
and
yeah.
whatever, and you have no choices anymore. Like, you're just
Mm.
like, okay, thank you. I'm happy I have a razor, but
I guess
oof,
I can't remember all the stories. I was just like going out to people and helping them. And it was just, you felt like you were just making a huge difference. And I went home and I relaxed. And I'm like, oh my God, I left my bag of papers. I'm going to have to go back to the pantry. So I drove back to the pantry. And then, with the person with the cart, and she collects the bottles, but she didn't have her cart.
hmm why
We
didn't you have
had,
her cart?
I don't know why. Well, we had just given her this beautiful quilt. So we have this lady, Cindy, that makes these beautiful quilts and she donates them.
Oh, okay. I know.
So we gave one to this girl,
Can
and
we
she.
say her name?
Cindy?
No. Well, she
Cin-
made the quilt.
So
Yeah.
Jen,
Oh,
Shout
so
out
it
to
was
Cindy.
Kathy. Was it
Jen.
Kathy? Oh,
No, it was
we
Jen.
gave
We
to
gave.
Jen. Okay.
Yeah. Well, her
We see a
mother's,
lot of people.
Yeah, I was
her
gonna say,
mother's in Davis.
don't worry about shouting out the name.
So anyhow, we saved the quilt for her mother, and so I said, "Oh, did your mom like the quilt?" Yes, and my mom this and that, and she was just so downtrodden. And then she was like, "Yeah, and we're paying so much for our car, so they have a car. They're paying so much insurance, so much. I don't know if they made the wisest choice, but we're not. They said we're not getting enough money. I don't even know what we're gonna have tomorrow to eat. Mindy gave us something today, but I don't know what we're gonna have tomorrow." I go, well, I guess this is why I came back. This is why I left my bag of
Oh,
papers there.
Yeah. You ever
Yeah.
had anyone tell you, like, I haven't eaten in 2 days?
Yeah.
It's
That's
messed
that's
up.
tough to
You know what
take.
So
I
I
mean? It
said,
Yeah.
is.
all right, wait right there. Let me go in. I go, here's
Yep.
this nice big pizza,
Yep.
and here are some twice baked potatoes. Put half in the freezer and put half in the oven.
And that's the other thing too. A lot of these people, and I don't mean to say these people or whatever, but if you're not taught when you're growing up about things, like sometimes you just don't know. Like that's why Jean's so good at that. Like she'll tell them, like, if you've got this great big whatever, separate it, break it down, freeze it, and then
Yeah.
it won't go bad. You'll have some for the next several days or the next several weeks or
Yeah.
whatever. They haven't been given that like luxury of just being parented or being
Mm.
loved or cared for or whatever, and I think it makes a big
Like
difference.
someone we gave a roast beef to a couple of weeks ago, and I said, here's a nice roast beef. I'm giving you carrots, onions, potatoes. Make yourself a big, gigantic pot roast or a stew. It's going to last you for days. When he came to sign up for Thanksgiving registration, he goes, I did what you said. It was so delicious. I had it for 3 days.
Nice.
It was just so nice.
Mhm.
It just really
Mm.
touches you. Like you're just not there spinning your wheels. You're
No,
really,
and you're not just handing out food. You're really
Yeah.
yeah.
making connections.
So anyhow, that was Jen.
Yep.
She was very just relieved because she goes, well, Mindy gave me something when I was here, but I don't know what we're going to have tomorrow. I go, here you go. Here's
Yep.
what you're going to have tomorrow,
Mm.
whatever. And I'm like, that's why I left my stuff there. There was a reason why I was supposed to go back down there.
Yeah.
She's a walker. She has a carriage and she walks everywhere. Her husband has the car and he goes to work. I'm not sure
Yeah,
where.
black
But
dog.
they're oh really? And it's just like, but they're not that's not hardly enough to. People are struggling.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, especially if you got to keep the house warm.
Absolutely.
I mean, oil and
Right.
the
Yeah.
like I said, this is the first in 3 years. My wood stove will finally go through its 5 cord, which is typical for we're heating 2,800 square feet with
Right.
the basement and the upstairs, but um, you know, 3 years in a row we barely hit three
Right.
cord because
Wow.
it was that warm of a
Yep.
winter,
Yeah.
and now if you get used to that, even if you're trying to budget
That's
and you
right.
get used to that, now it's cold and
Yep.
Yeah.
more money's got to go in the tank,
Yep.
regardless
Right.
of how much it is per gallon.
Yep.
It's just more cold nights now.
And
so,
imagine not having the resources.
Oh, and I was
Yeah.
just thinking about your friend there that lives in her car with her cats.
Yep. What about her?
Well, he was talking about cold and this and that, but you know what? They have like those Cumby sandwiches, those sandwiches from Cumby's. When that cat lady comes, like she gets to have those sandwiches.
Yeah,
And
no,
she can go
it's
right in her car.
every
and
little
eat
bit,
those.
every little thing
Yeah.
helps.
So
That's
we're
the thing.
grateful for all the
right, and that's how
stores
this
and stuff that
that's how
donate
this
to
started,
us.
was how grateful
We
you
are
guys
so
all
Yeah.
are, and
grateful.
how
Yeah.
it's funny because you're volunteers, but you're the grateful ones.
Yeah.
You know,
Every day. Yep.
it's so
Yeah, because it does
it's
put
so
your own
cool.
stuff into
And
perspective. You know.
and I even like my time with you guys, I was just so grateful for it. You know, anytime that we're out networking, because
Yep.
it's kind of how I met Jean. Was
Yep.
you introduced me at a networking thing, and then
Yep.
Yeah.
and now anytime I'm at the shelter, it's just like, I mean, not the shelter, but Friends of Assisi.
Right,
It's just
right.
like, oh, this is
It's like coming home.
yeah.
You know. Yeah.
We can make a difference. We
Exactly.
can.
And by the way, Harmon French
Uh-oh. Is he
has
watching? Did he comment?
he sent an emoji that looks like a hug.
Nice.
Oh, can you text him and say we're ready to get picked up?
What time is it? Yeah, it's about that time, isn't it?
I don't know,
7:30.
but
Yeah,
Matt will just know that we'll talk forever.
That's
if we
funny.
close
And
this
that's
out.
okay.
Funny.
So
I do love that you have the Serenity Prayer up.
yeah, yeah, we try to make it as welcoming here for when people come,
Thank
because
you.
especially for the just the idea of like being on camera, people get nervous and stuff, and we're like,
It is. I keep
try and-
looking to
try and put
it,
up
you
a
know, and we
welcome.
carry the 12-step books. You know, we
Yeah.
make sure we have them on hand for people who come in
Mm.
and who are struggling or whatever, so that we can hand those out too for people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
And Kyle, I think he got this from your profile picture
it could be.
for Friends of Assisi.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously we knew it was something special to you to be your profile
is.
picture.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
we try to do something like that
Very
when
nice.
people
And
come in.
Again, it's not
and-
just for the 12 steppers. It's for
Yeah.
like it's good.
It's for everybody.
Words
yeah.
to live by, man.
Yeah.
right.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you guys for
Yeah,
coming
thank
on.
you so much, Matt. That's so
Um,
nice of you.
This,
I love that. Let's spread the love too,
that sticker?
of course.
dude.
Let me see here.
Give her-
We'll say goodbye to Jen. Put her
Yes,
up.
I
and
know.
then
Jen, thank you so much for
Look at
joining
her.
us. Do you
Those
have
blue
some words
eyes.
of wisdom you want to say?
No,
Follow my menu.
she's just
here.
shaking her
It
head
is.
at us like, oh, Melinda and Jean.
and this episode does kick off our annual Spread the Love campaign. If you can, donate. If you can, volunteer. Friends of Assisi is just one of many food pantries around the area. There's also Brooklyn Cares, Project Pin. There's pantries in Thompson,
Every
Putnam,
town, yep.
every town. Most churches have some sorts of pantry or some way to give or help. So if you can, donate. And thanks for watching. Join us next week when we have February 10th at 6 p.m. We'll be talking to Taylor Brook Winery and Brewery.
Ooh. We could be guest
Yeah.
hosts. Just kidding.
Hold on a minute. I
That
have
sounds nice.
Yes, Taylor Brook Winery. So
Very
I have
nice.
a slide for that. Thank you, Kyle, for all the slides.
He's such a good guy.
even though he was sick, he
missed you,
did all that
Kyle.
for us. I really appreciate everything from the community and all of our followers, as do Friends of Assisi.
100%.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
As always, buy local, hire local, donate local, dine local, and have great days.
Awesome.
Amen.